Hey guys, it's me, Tecposlo, and I am going to do the story of Huitzilopochtli. It can be found in Florentine Codex Book 3, The Origin of the Gods, which is, wouldn't say it's all the origins, there's more stuff in other books, but this is just mostly two stories, pretty much. As you can see, it's kind of tiny. But sometimes it gets a little sidetracked, which is why it's a little thicker. I'd say if it was actually just the stories, it would probably be like half of it. So anyway, the first one I'm going to be working on is oh, my dog's here. Let's say hi, Bora. um, is about Huitzilopochtli and how I guess the story that you always hear, but this is I guess the translation from Dibble and Anderson. I always forget. I'm like, is it Gribble? Is it Tizzle? Like it's something with Dibble. It's Dibble, so don't worry. Um, so it's pretty cool. Well, it kind of does have an introduction of the beginning of Teotihuacan, but it's in only one paragraph before it goes to Huitzilopochtli. He goes, first chapter, in which it is told how the gods had their beginning. How the gods had their beginning where they had their beginning cannot be known. This is plain. This is where that there in Teotihuacan they say is the place. The time was when they still was darkness. There all the gods assembled and consulted among themselves who would bear upon his back the burden of rule. Which is the word rule they have here in Awat is taquis, which is a just to rule for that's the word they translate to rule. Who would be the sun? This half already been told in various places, which the funny part is you have to go into other books from the Florentine Codex to read that story, and I'll eventually go to that point, um, which is funny. Where it has it even in quotations and all. So you can see. It's like, yeah, it's in other books. But when the sun came to appear, then all the gods died there. Through them the sun was made to revive. None remain who did not die, as Hoff has been told. And thus the ancient ones thought it. So that's the first section. But to me, that's too small, and I have to go to other parts of it, which I will eventually, you'll see. Um, Now it goes to Huitzilopochtli. It just skips to, I don't know how many years or how long. So to Huitzilopochtli, the Mexicas paid great honor. Um, in the Nahuatl, it says Mexica, but Dibble, they put Mexican. So I will say Mexica on this part. Thus did they believe in the beginning his origins. At Cotepec, under Tula, there dwelt one day, there lived a woman named Coaticue, mother of Simson Sinutsnawa. I think I pronounced it wrong. It's a very long word. Senson, no, it's Senson Huitznawa. And their elder sister was named Coyolxauhqui. And this Coaticue used to perform pendants there. She used to sweep. She used to take care of the sweeping. Thus, she used to perform pendants at Cotepec. And once, when Coaticue was sweeping, feathers descended upon her, what was like a ball of feathers. Then Coaticue snatched them up. She placed them at her waist. And then Shagun writes that in Spanish, and he wrote in El sueño junto a la barriga. So pretty much like the belly button area. And when she had swept, then she would have taken the feathers which she had put at her waist. She found nothing. Thereupon, by means of them, Coaticue conceived. And when the Sensonawas saw that their mother was already with child, they were very wrathful. They said, "Who brought this about? Who got her with child? Who hath dishonored us? She hath shamed us." And their elder sister, Coyolxauhqui, said to them, "My elder brothers, she hath dishonored us. We can only kill our mother, the wicked one who is already with child. Who is the cause of what is in her womb?" And when Coaticue learned of this, she was sorely afraid. She was deeply saddened, and her child, who was in her womb, comforted her. She called to her. He said to her, "Have no fear. Already I know what I shall do." When Coaticue heard the words of her child, she was much comforted by them, and she was satisfied concerning what has thus terrified her. Upon this, the Sensonawa, when they had brought together all the consideration, when they had expressed their determination that they would kill their mother because she has brought about an affront and much exerted them, they were very wrathful. And if her heart came forth, Coyolxauhqui greatly incited, aroused the anger of her elder brothers, that they would kill their mother. And the Sensonawa thereupon arrayed themselves. They armed themselves for war. And these Sensonawas were like seasoned warriors. They twisted their hair. They wound their hair about their hands, and they wound about their heads, their hair, their forehead hair. I know it has a lot of hair stuff. But one who was named Huitzilopochtli delivered information to both sides. That which the Sensonawa said, he then told, he informed Huitzilopochtli. And Huitzilopochtli said to Coaticue, "Pay careful heed, my dear uncle. Listen carefully. I already know what I shall do." And upon this, when finally the Sensonawas expressed their determination, when they were of one mind in their deliberation, that they would slay their mother, thereupon they went. Coyolxauhqui led them. Much did each one exert himself. Each one persevered. Each armed himself for war. Each one was provided. On themselves they placed their paper array, the paper crowns, which is ceremonial paper crowns, their knitted hanging from their painted faces, and they bound little bells to the calves of their legs, which is why you see Coyolxauhqui has bells on her legs too. These little bells were called orwalis, and their arrows had notched heads. Thereupon they went each one in order. They went each one in his row. Each one wielded their weapon. They went crouching. Coyolxauhqui led them. And Isak thereupon ran up the hill to warn Huitzilopochtli. He said to him, "Already they are coming." Then Huitzilopochtli said, "Watch well where they come." Thereupon Huitzilopochtli said to him, "Already they are at Sommantiplitlan." And there's going to be a lot of names here, but they are references to religious things. And I believe in ceremonies they explain each location and why they are important. If I remember right. It's one of the books. They're like, "Oh, this and that." You're like, okay. Um, where was I? Again, which supposedly spoke forth to him. Where are they? Where do they come? Then Isaac said to him, already they are at Coyolxauhqui. Once more, which supposedly spoke forth to Isaac, see where they now come. Then this one said to him, already they are at Abitlach. Once again, which supposedly spoke forth to him, where now do they come? Then Isaac said to him, already they come along the slope. And which supposedly again spoke forth to Isaac. He said to him, watch where they now come. Then Isaac said to him, at last they scaled the height here. At last they arrived here. Coyolxauhqui commenced leading them, and which supposedly just then was born. Then he had his array with him, their shield, the weweli, and his darts, and his blue dart thrower called She-Atat, and in diagonally strike was his face painted, with his child Afal called his child's face painting. He was pasted with feathers at his forehead and at his ears, and on his one thin foot, his left, he had the sole pasted with feathers, and he had stripes and blue mineral earth on both his thigh and both his upper arms. And one named Toshancalchi set fire to the Shikoa. Shikoa is this sacred weapon. You would think, since it's called Shikoa, it would be something else, like, because it does lightning and stuff like that. And you're like, okay, it's called Shikoa, but this one does fire, which supposedly commanded it, and then pierced Coyolxauhqui, and then quickly struck off her head. It stopped there at the edge of Coatepec, and her body came falling below. It fell, breaking to pieces. In various places, her arms, her legs, her body each fell, which is how you see the Coyolxauhqui stone, where you see her head, but then you see her body parts are all kind of scattered, just like the way he describes it. And which supposedly then arose, he pursued, gave full attention to the Sensonnawa, and he plunged, he scattered them from the top of Coatepec. And when he had come driving them to the ground below, thereupon he took upon after them, he pursued all of them around Coatepec. 4 times he chased them all around, pursued them all around. Yet in vain they went crying out at him. Yet in vain they cried out against him. Yet in vain they went striking their shields. No one could do, no more could they achieve. No longer could they ward him off, which supposedly just said on all of them. He indeed made them turn tail. He indeed destroyed them. He indeed annihilated them. He indeed exterminated them. And when each now he indeed not leave them alone, when indeed he hung on to all of them, much did they importance them. They said to him, let this be enough, but which supposedly did not content himself with this. He was very bold against them, as he took after them, and only very few fled his presence. Those who escaped his hand went there to the south. Which is Huitzilopochtli, which is the south. That's the word they translate to south. Let's see what else is there to say. For indeed towards there these Sensonnawas went, and the place they went is called kind of the same thing as their name, Tzitson Went Noah. I think I'm pronouncing that one. Sinson Nawa. And upon this, when he had slain them, When he has taken his presents, he took from them their goods, their ornaments, their paper crowns. He took them as his own goods. He took them as his own property. He assumed them as his due, as it taking the insignia to himself. And Huitzilopochtli was also called an omen of evil, because only from a feather which fell his mother Coaticue conceived, for no one appeared as his father. This one the Mexica respected. Hence they made offerings to him. Hence they honored him. They exerted themselves for him, and they placed their trust in Huitzilopochtli. And their veneration was taken from their Coatepec, as was done in the days of yore. Enough of this. I feel like I'm missing some stuff on notes. I guess the thing I would be the trusting part, Muchuawiwa. That's about it. The rest of the chapter, well, they call them paragraphs, but they're more like chapters. Up to the fourth one is about the ceremony, how things are done. I guess if people are interested, I'll probably read those other 3 chapters because it goes way into detail about the amaranth. It doesn't explain how to make the ingredients, and I think that's the one sad thing is there's a lot of good ideas and thoughts of food, but then they're like, I think they always assume people would always know it, and I think that's one thing I always think is interesting. Anyway, that's the story of Huitzilopochtli according to the Florentine Codex, book 3. If you guys have any questions or anything, I guess I'll go from there. Anyway, I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.